How does one create popular content? A question that even the most seasoned creators find themselves asking. Whether your aim is to promote a business, reach new audiences, or simply avoid putting your friends to sleep on social media, this video offers some grounded strategies. We'll begin with some fundamental marketing theory, then add a few personal insights, and finally, we'll build an AI system that can assist with the content creation process. Let's get started. To create content that resonates, we need to think about two key things: what to say and how to say it. Traditional marketing theory generally focuses on the delivery, in other words, how to present information, including tone, medium, and format, while leaving the actual message, in other words, what to say, up to the creator. In this video, we are going to specifically look at segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Segmentation involves dividing people into distinct groups. The textbook definition says that this is important because different people have different preferences. However, instead of thinking of people as being fundamentally different, I find it to be more useful to focus less on the person and more on the context. Taking Monday morning, one might be focused and ready to learn. A long-form coding tutorial might be just right. But on a Friday evening, the same person might only have patience for a light meme. So, segments aren't just about who people are, they are about any context that could affect a person's preferences. The same person could be part of a different segment depending on factors such as their mood, whether they are working, or what recent events they experienced. Next, targeting involves choosing which segment to focus on. Do you go broad for reach or narrow for depth? There is no right answer, just strategic trade-offs. You could even blend 2 or 3 segments. Finally, positioning is about crafting a message that appeals to the segment that you are targeting. Yes, it may involve some stereotyping, but flexibility is key. Take inspiration from outside your niche, experiment, and refine your understanding as you go. Let's put this theory to work. We are going to build a two-agent system to help creators generate better content ideas. We want to use AI not as a magic answer box, but as a structured assistant, something like a mentor that asks questions before offering advice. It's like having a colleague who won't say anything until they have completely understood what you are trying to achieve. Annoying at times, but often helpful in the long run. Specifically, between the two agents, the first will gather context and the second will offer personalized suggestions based on that context. Here's a demo. The user interface asks us to explain why we want to create content. To this, we could answer, I want to establish myself as an expert in my industry in order to get clients for my business. The agent then asks for more information based on the theory that we have discussed previously. For now, let's just say I want to focus on young people as my target audience. We can see that the context notes get updated after each response that we submit. These context notes will be given to the content generation agent to personalize content suggestions. Now that we have some suggestions, notice how the agent does not simply respond with a list of ideas. Instead, it explains its logic. The specific ideas act only as examples for inspiration. This makes the suggestions more useful and more credible. The model responds with both suggestions and further context about these suggestions because of prompt engineering. In the backend, we clearly define how the agent should respond. On another note, I don't know if you noticed, but before chatting with the context building agent, I added a case study. This case study is added to boost the idea generation agent's performance. In addition to our theory guidelines and the notes gathered during conversations, the idea generation agent is also given access to various case studies that have been vectorized for fast similarity searches, which the agent can use for inspiration. But what does the whole vectorizing mean? Alright, vector embeddings represent numerical transformations of text that capture semantic relationships in high-dimensional space. Each case study in our knowledge base undergoes tokenization and processing through transformer neural networks, producing dense vector representations, specifically 768 dimensions in our example. These vectors encode contextual meaning rather than merely lexical similarity, enabling the system to recognize, for example, that startup growth strategies and scaling business operations share semantic proximity despite using different terminology. The embedding generation process utilizes pre-trained language models which have learned semantic relationships from extensive text resources. Each case study produces a unique coordinate in vector space where semantically similar content clusters together geometrically. This mathematical representation allows for precise similarity calculations. The similarity search algorithm operates by converting user context into equivalent vector representations and computing distance metrics against stored case study vectors. Our implementation leverages pgvector, a PostgreSQL extension that provides native vector storage and similarity search capabilities within the database layer. This approach eliminates the complexity of maintaining separate vector databases while leveraging the existing PostgreSQL infrastructure. The search process begins by embedding the user's contextual input using the same model that generated the case study vectors, ensuring dimensional consistency. pgvector supports multiple distance functions, enabling flexible similarity calculations based on the use case requirements. The system performs queries using SQL syntax enhanced with vector operators, retrieving the most semantically relevant case studies while maintaining the familiar relational database structure. To improve our agents further, we could later add more theory guidelines, or at the user level, the user could get more personalized suggestions by adding further case studies or spending more time chatting with the context building agent. To conclude, creating content that people care about is not just about chasing trends or copying what works for others. It's about understanding your audience, making intentional choices, and being willing to iterate. The real power comes when strategy and creativity work together. Theory provides structure, AI provides guidance, and you provide the intent and oversight. The systematic approach that we have explored today extends far beyond content creation. Whether architecting distributed systems, building user interfaces, or communicating complex ideas, the fundamental methodology remains consistent. Understand your context, identify your focus, and execute with precision. The AI system that we have constructed serves as more than just a content generation tool. It exemplifies how systematic thinking can transform a creative challenge into a manageable engineering problem. This transformation does not diminish creativity, rather, it provides the structure within which creativity can flourish most effectively. The intersection of systematic thinking and creative execution represents the frontier where true innovation occurs. Whether you are building content strategies or the future of technology, embrace the discipline of systematic approaches. They will amplify your creative potential far beyond what intuition or vibes alone can achieve.